What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, pretty much everything you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market. Remember, new videos come out here on our channel every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you find these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. Yesterday was a historic day on the stock market, or on the New York Stock Exchange, as you can see here from this headline. It's official. Bitcoin just joined the New York Stock Exchange with a new ETF from ProShares. So Bitcoin can now be bought through an ETF, which is an exchange-traded fund, kind of an index fund type of deal on the New York Stock Exchange. So yeah, cryptocurrency is now actually on the stock market or on the New York Stock Exchange. So yeah, and actually the SEC did not block this. They actually showed their approval for this, which was shocking to a lot of stock investors who thought that they would block it, and they didn't. So yeah, cryptocurrency is actually now on the New York Stock Exchange. And the Dow Jones stock index has actually hit an all-time high yet again, up 200, almost 200 points yesterday, 198 points. 0.7 yesterday to hit another all-time high as stocks, now that the country is not going to default for the time being, that the debt limit is temporarily raised until early December. Just for the time being, the Dow Jones has hit another all-time high. So at least temporarily, they're going to have to raise the debt limits again here, not too far from now. President Biden just had a big meeting with Democratic lawmakers and progressives and says that the deal is getting close to passing the stimulus package and thinks that there could be a deal right around the corner. As you can see here, progressive lawmakers emerged Tuesday from a meeting at the White House saying President Biden has taken charge of the negotiations over his sweeping domestic agenda and is offering specific spending recommendations and has boosted the Democrats' hope of winning an agreement in the coming weeks. To create a sense of urgency, Biden is urging lawmakers to put their differences aside and get a bill to his desk before he and other top Democrats head to Glasgow for an international summit on climate change, a gathering that begins on October 31st, Halloween, which is about 10 days away. Democratic Representative Ro Khanna from California says, quote, "I felt that we're getting closer to a deal than I've ever felt before. I felt that the president was engaged in the details of the negotiation in a way that we haven't seen before." One of the 9 House progressives who huddled in the Oval Office with President Biden. Ro Khanna says, "If they come up with a framework, I think we're good to go. The hope is to get it done before he goes to Glasgow." Here is Pramila Jayapal, who was in that meeting as well. She's the leader of the Democratic Progressive Caucus. She's the leader of 96 different Democrats from the House, with more details from this meeting. She also just met with Senator Joe Manchin, the holdout from the Democrats, and she'll give us some more details on this and where the stimulus package goes from here.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We had a really good, productive meeting, another productive meeting with the President, with the Vice President, with Secretary Yellen, and I think we all feel still even more optimistic about getting to an agreement on a really transformational bill that will fundamentally lift people up with the priorities that the Progressive Caucus had laid out 5 months ago. We feel very good that the majority of those priorities will be in this bill. And I think the president has been working incredibly hard to get everybody to a place where we can move this forward and finish this process so that we can start on whatever is the next important thing that we need to do. So I feel like these conversations have been really important, and the president's work with the senators and then with our caucus in the House have been really, really critical for us to be able to move forward. So we're feeling good.
Congresswoman, did you agree to a bottom line number for the reconciliation package? What would you say to those who look at the fact that you're having a separate meeting with the president from the moderates and say, how can there be real progress if you're not all in the same?
Well, I think, look, I want to just remind everybody that the House has a Build Back Better Act that had the vast majority of us, progressive, moderate, whatever you want to call us, all agreed to. And so we really are talking about just a couple of people that were not there, and we understand that the margins are slim, so we need to get there. And so I think it's fine for the president to have smaller meetings with different groupings of people. I think that's a good thing. It doesn't mean that we're not all talking to each other separately as well. So I think we're in a good place.
So agreement on a bottom line number.
Well, I mean, the president has consistently laid out a number that is somewhere between, 1.9 and 2.2, and I think, look, it's not the number that we want. We have consistently tried to make it as high as possible, but at the end of the day, the idea that we can do these programs, a multitude of programs, and actually get them going so that they deliver immediate transformational benefits to people is what we're focused on.
Did the president shed any light on his meetings this morning with Senator Manchin and Senator Sinema, since you talked about those being two people that have not come to the agreement?
He just said he's working very hard with them, and he feels like he's going to try to get us to resolution, and went through some of the things he knows are important to us in terms of what he's fighting for in the bill.
Did he say, just to follow up, did he say if they were on board with that 1.9 and 2.2 number yet?
I think that's what he's working to get everybody to. I mean, that's the number he's still putting out there, and I think that's the number that he's continuing to work with.
Is the idea still to sort of cut down time on some of these programs, or are you having conversations about cutting programs sort of whole cloth?
The president has agreed with our strategy that the majority of our caucus put out some time ago, which is we would like to see more of our priorities. And remember, we winnowed. The Progressive Caucus did not give a list of 100 things. We gave a list of 5 major priority areas. And so I think he is with us that we need to invest in as many of those transformational areas as possible, even if it means for some of them a shorter amount of time.
How would you describe the president's role right now? Is he the closer? When it comes to investments in climate change, what do you see as a resolution or a middle ground when it comes between progressives and Senator Manchin?
Look, I think this is one of the most challenging places for our caucus because we are still waiting to see exactly what the agreement is around how we ensure that we get carbon emissions reductions. And I think that there are lots of possibilities on the table, some of which might be in the bill, some of which may not be. And so we just need to continue to look at the final agreement around that because I don't think there is a final agreement there, but we're hopeful that we're going to get to a significant investment in climate.
How would you describe the president's role right now? Is he the closer, and did he talk to you about any deadline that he wants if it's not October 31st, which of course the House Speaker has said?
The president is the inspirer. He is the closer. He is the convincer. The mediator in chief. He really is doing a phenomenal job.
But to follow up on that, what about deadlines? Did he talk about deadlines?
I mean, I think we're trying to get this, trying to get to a real close as quickly as possible.
What's the likelihood you'll reach a deadline? Does he sound frustrated with what's going on? Is he taking a tougher stance? Is he basically saying, get this done?
The president has been nothing but respectful of all that we're trying to accomplish, all that he's trying to accomplish in his Build Back Better agenda. And these conversations have been really great. They're really conversational. Others should say how they feel about this, but really conversational, really important listening sessions for him to hear from our members and for us to hear from him.
Is it by the end of the week realistic, as Senator Schumer, Senate Majority Leader Schumer has expressed that's what he wants, a framework by the end of this week?
Well, we're all working as hard as we can. All of us are having a million conversations every day to try to get there.
How long did the president talk about needs testing for some of these programs, and would you accept a cap on income, for example, for the child tax?
We didn't discuss that.
Did you discuss the carbon tax?
No.
What about paid family and medical leave? I was hearing last week that there was some question about whether or not that would be included in the final package.
I'm not going to get into all the details, but I think certainly paid family and medical leave is a priority of ours, and we're trying to figure out how to make sure it stays in there.
What are the biggest sticking points that you guys have right now still, even coming out of this meeting?
Well, we don't have a final, I mean, we're talking about what we hope to be able to get to, but just want to be clear, we're not at a place where there's a final thing for us to look at. So I think that's what we're trying to figure out right now.
So honestly, it sounds like they're getting really close. It sounds like they have some sort of initial agreements that they're getting pretty close here. Honestly, the one big wild card is Senator Joe Manchin. The other kind of wild cards are how close they are on the prescription drug pricing issues. And I think they're going to probably settle on the price tag between 1.9 trillion and 2.2 trillion. I have a feeling that is where they're going to settle on the price tag, which would probably make Joe Manchin happy. And then we've had that statement from President Biden that says that they're going to come back later for the rest, alluding to, and what also the other Democrats have confirmed, that there will be another stimulus package after this. So they're basically, and that's why, from what I'm gathering, that a lot of these Democrats are kind of okay with kind of taking what they can get now and just kind of closing the deal on what they've agreed to now, because it's kind of been a while. So they're just going to kind of agree to what they can get right now, close the chapter on that, and then, as she kind of mentioned in there, work on what's next. So they're going to kind of close the chapter on whatever they can get done now. And you heard they kind of want to have a framework for what they can agree on now here by the end of the week. And they want to try to have this deal done by the end of the month, which is 10, 11 days away here by Halloween. So it sounds like here we're really here at the final stretch of everything if Joe Manchin can come on board. And we're really going to start to get a lot of details here. What's in this package? Did they get the deal done on the prescription drug pricing? What will they add in at the very last moment? Remember that they always seem to add in things at the very last moment. Remember that the stimulus check for the second stimulus check package was added at the very last moment, in the 6 days before the second stimulus check package was passed. The third stimulus check package, they added in the $10,200 unemployment tax break, which meant that anybody that had unemployment income for 2020, it was retroactive, got anywhere from several $100s to several $1,000s of a tax break. They always seem to add things in at the very last moment. Of course, we have Senator Bernie Sanders pushing for multiple different things, including a $1,000 stimulus debit card, potentially for seniors, for Medicare and dental vouchers, or to use on things like that. Who knows what they're going to add in at the very last moment. We have multiple different advocacy groups pushing for $1,400 to $2,000 stimulus checks for adults. Well, of course, we have the child tax credit, those monthly stimulus checks that they want to extend for multiple different years, but those will end on December 15th if they can't pass this package. We also have Senator Joe Manchin demanding that there be all sorts of new qualifications on this, but the problem with that is he's the only Democrat demanding this. So literally 99.9% of the other Democrats don't want those demands. He's literally the only Democrat. There's 49 other Democrats in the Senate and 220 other Democrats in the House that don't want those demands. So he's the only Democrat that wants an income, an earned income qualification, a job qualification, which would basically exclude anybody who's on Social Security, grandmas and grandpas who claim the children, which would be millions of grandmas and grandpas who take care of children and claim them. Anybody who's on SSI, SSDI. It would also potentially exclude families where only one parent works. It's yet to be determined on this, but I'm seeing a lot of information on this, that this could exclude families where, for example, a mom works, or I'm sorry, yeah, or either or. Say a mom works, but the father doesn't work, or if the dad goes to work and the mom stays at home and takes care of the children, that could exclude that family because they don't work. If they're married filing jointly, they may have to both work to get the child tax credit if Joe Manchin gets his way. Also, he wants a $60,000 income qualification, or an income threshold, I should say, for a family, which would mean only $30,000 for two people, which would be well below the average income. Well below the average income, which means just the average person wouldn't even get the child tax credits anymore. So there's 65 million people that get them right now, and that would probably cut them in less than half if we're talking about the average person wouldn't get them anymore. And remember that Joe Manchin is the only Democrat demanding these things. So, yeah. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments. Also want to mention this headline here from yesterday. Some families scratching their heads after finding cuts to their October child tax credit payments. Yeah, and again, the IRS messed up again. Some people, we don't know exactly how many, got wrong payment amounts for their October child tax credit payments, these monthly checks that are going out every month. Some people consider them stimulus checks. Some people just consider them checks from the government. I consider them stimulus checks because they're from the third stimulus check package, which is when they were passed. I mean, that's totally up to you, whatever you consider them. It doesn't really matter. But they do stimulate the economy. They stimulate you. They're passed from the third stimulus check package. But yeah, a lot of people, their checks are delayed, didn't get them. A lot of people got the wrong amounts, got less. And well, this is kind of par for the course as the IRS has kind of messed this up again. So yeah, I just do want to say that. So if that happened to you, you're not alone. I will put a link down below in the description of this video to the IRS official website that says where you can go to check on your payments right here. You can check to view your payments, check to see if you're enrolled. If you're missing any payments at all for your child tax credits payments, this is where you can go to check on them right here. If you're missing any payments, if you're not getting your payments, if you haven't gotten your payments ever, you probably need to go to this website, okay? If you're a non-tax filer and you need to fill this information out. If you don't file tax returns and you have children, you are eligible to get them. Okay, you can see here, if you aren't required to file a tax return and haven't given us your information already, you will need to give us some basic information for your child tax credit payments. You enter your information here. You can check to see if you're eligible. Okay, keep that in mind. I also just want to remind you guys, as my regular reminder, that I will never text you in the comments. I will never give you a phone number in the comments. There's a lot of people impersonating me in the comments. These scammers, these spammers, they make new accounts every single day, and they'll name themselves It's Jimmy or administrator or anything like that, and they'll try to pose as me, and they'll put a phone number or a text in the comments. Don't text with anybody through comments or call anybody through comments. They try to pose as me. I'll never put a phone number or anything in the comments. The link for that IRS page will be in the description of this video. Okay, that will be to open up, click on the little title of this video if you're on a mobile phone. That will open up the description. You'll see it'll say irs.gov, and it will open up the description. And you'll see the page will look directly like this. It'll say IRS, irs.gov, and advanced child tax credit payments. Or you can go to Google and just type in irs.gov advanced child tax credit payments and find this page. But again, make sure you go to the irs.gov page directly so you don't get scammed or anything along those lines. But it looks like they're making some real progress on some issues. The one issue the main issue they really have to work on is Joe Manchin. Can't make this stuff up. The main issue is Joe Manchin. That's the issue. Yeah. Can't make this stuff up, guys. That's the issue among the Democratic Party. So if they could fix that issue, we'd have to have this package passed. And he's got a couple of different issues in there. He's got the size of the package. He's got issues with the child tax credit payments. He doesn't want it to be an entitlement society. but these payments are supposed to be for the children. They're supposed to bring children out of poverty. They're supposed to feed the children, give shelter for the children so they're not homeless, so that they have a roof over their head, so grandmas and grandpas can clothe them, feed them, so that they're not living in poverty, so they have food, so that low income and people living in poverty can put food on the table for them. So all those things, right? And people that, you know, if you think about these child tax credit payments have been going on for 23 years. But Joe Manchin just wants to take it away from millions and millions and millions of children. Think about that. I mean, imagine taking away $250 to $300 per month away from literally millions of children. I wouldn't have the heart to do that. Could you imagine doing that? I wouldn't want to be the one to do that. I mean, I couldn't do that. You can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, but not my decision. I'm just here bringing you guys the news. But we'll have to see. He's also got some issues with the climate provisions in there. They're negotiating on that. Remember, he's from West Virginia. There's a lot of coal there. But he's also kind of got, you know, his hands in or his pockets with the coal industry and stuff like that. Also with the pharmaceutical industry. So we're going to have to see there. But there's also some other Democrats that are involved with the pharmaceutical industry that they're having some issues with the prescription drug language and whether or not that's going to pass. I really want to see that one pass for you guys, for the average everyday American people. Over 66% of Americans take prescription drugs, and I really think that that is a stimulus program lowering the cost of those that would be a huge benefit. It's not like a check, but it is actually in effect a check because if you start saving money every single month on your prescriptions, it's actually in effect putting money in your pocket. Now, whether that's $10 a month, $20 a month, $50 a month, or $100 a month, or whatever it is, it depends on how much you spend and how much you're going to end up saving. That's a direct savings in your pocket for millions and millions of people. And it would go on for, well, we don't really know, but theoretically forever. Savings forever. So imagine getting that savings every single month for forever, potentially. So that is one I really want to see. That's just one of the items that they're negotiating on, as well as Medicare benefits for seniors, hearing, dental, vision, hearing aids, that the majority of seniors do not have this coverage already. Some seniors pay extra for this coverage, and if and when this stuff goes into effect, seniors might not have to pay for that coverage anymore, or maybe down the line might not have to pay for it anymore, may not have to pay for Medicare Advantage plans or anything like that in the future, if and when it goes into effect. And when we get all the details on that, maybe down the line, you might not have to pay for those booster plans. So again, all this kind of stuff here, but the majority of seniors don't have those coverage to begin with, or they can't afford to pay for those extra Medicare Advantage plans or those booster plans. They just can't afford to pay for them. So they really kind of want to give seniors these extra benefits. There's so many different things in this package, all these different moving pieces that they have to negotiate on and basically get every Democrat to agree, or else they basically can't even vote on it because they're going to count the votes ahead of time. And like, for example, if they can't get Joe Manchin's vote, they can't get the vote yes. There's no reason to vote on it because they're just, if he's going to vote no, the package isn't going to pass. So they got to get everybody to say they're going to vote yes on it, and then go ahead and vote on it. It'll pass instantly. So apparently they're getting very close. A lot of them are getting optimistic, saying that they think it's going to happen pretty soon. So I will keep you up to date here. We have that one wild card in Joe Manchin. So yeah, make sure to subscribe down below. I will keep you up to date. Subscribe is completely free to do so. Make sure that you watch, because we'll see here. We'll see. I think they're getting close. They think they're getting close. New videos come out every day on our channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video is how there's new big Social Security increases coming out here very soon that were just announced. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.